Hello everyone, welcome to my auditing classes. I hope you remember our previous classes on internal check system of wages, an internal check system for stores and internal check system for cash transactions. In today's class, we are going to learn internal check system regarding cash sales. So as far as the cash sales, internal check system is not same in all the cases. It's different. For sales at the counter, it's different for traveling agents and it's different for mail order business. So in today's class, we are going to learn internal check system regarding cash sales at the counter. So I'll take you to a shop and let us see how internal check system is applying in their shop. So the thing before starting, you should consider each step carefully so that at the end of this scene, so you have to recall the steps one by one. So the first thing, assume that there are three counters in the shop. The first is toys, and the second is vegetables and fruits, and the third one is cloth. And there is a separate salesman for each counter, and each counter is numbered. So it might be the names or it might be the number. Here it's number 101, 102, and 103. And each salesmen are provided with a document called cash memo. So here's a specimen of cash memo which contains the date and the customer's number, name, and here quantity and particulars. So these salesmen are required to fill only the two things, the first one quantity and the second one particulars. The rate and amount they will not fill. So the cash memo. Again, you can observe that this cash memo color is different for each counter. So it is for easy identification. So if it's a color blue, then we can easily identify that it belongs to the counter 102. Or if the color is black, that we can easily identify that it belongs to the counter 103. So for that purpose, the colors of cash memo is differently printed. And of course, so there is a responsible person to look after the activities of these counters, and he can also check or cross verify the cash memos prepared by these counter salesmen. Again, these salesmen are not allowed to receive any cash. So there is a separate person to receive the cash, and this counter is called cashier counter. And other than this person, nobody else can receive the cash, either the salesman or this responsible person. So after this background, now a customer called Smitha entered the shop and she directly entered the counter number 3, and she liked this suit very much and she decided to purchase it. And at this point of time, the sales girl should prepare the cash memos in 4 copies. So that means she should write the quantity and quality of product purchased in 4 copies. And she should hand over the 3 copies to Smita, and she should retain 1 copy with herself. And this suit purchased by Smita will be packed now. And after this, Smita will comes to cashier counter. At this point of time, she should hand over the cash memos to cashier. So after receiving cash memo, this cashier will check the cash memo's particulars with the goods, the quantity and quality mentioned in the cash memo, and she will cross verify with the actual goods. After the verification, this goods will comes to delivery counter of course, and Smita will make the payments to the cashier. And after this step, cashier will put a seal to the cash memo, that's cash page. For all the 3 copies, she will put a seal called cash page. And she will retain 1 copy with the cashier and hand over the 2 copies to the customer. After receiving the cash memo, 2 copies of cash memo, Smita will comes to delivery counter. Now she will hand over 1 copy of cash memo to the delivery counter. So in delivery counter, so they will check the cash memo as well as the goods. After this, so this delivery counter will hand over the goods to Smita. And now the entire transaction is over. Smita is very happy after purchasing the suit from this uh, uh, sales unit, and she will exit from the counter, from the shop itself. So this is what happens in a one transaction of amount. It repeats for every transaction. For every transaction, all these processes should be done. I hope you remember the steps and you observe each steps very carefully, and now you can recall the steps. So let me elaborate the things. The first thing, salesman should be separate from the cashier and salesman should not be allowed to receive cash. So there is a separate person for each sales counter. An independent salesman should be appointed for each sales counter. So we have seen that for 3 counters there are 3 salesmen. Sales memo book or cash memo book printed and serially numbered and provided to the counter salesman. Every counter salesman at this counter must be identified by his name or by number given to his counter. We have number 101, 102 and 103. Different colors of cash memo book provided to different counter salesmen. Of course, we have seen orange, blue and black. Counter salesmen record the quantity and quality of goods in a cash memo. The sales memo should be cross-verified by a responsible officer. Of course, we have seen a person with black suit verifying all the 3 counters. Customer hands over 3 copies of cash memo to the counter along with the cash payment. Cashier checks against the units and receives the amount. Of course, she will check, cross-verify the units with the goods. Goods sale, cash memo received and cash received on cash memos in all the 3 copies. So in a red color, a paid seal will be put on all the 3 cash memos. Hands over 2 cash memo to customer. We have seen 2 cash memos hand over to Smita. Customer hands over a copy of delivery counter. So now the customer will comes to delivery counter and hands over a cash memo to the delivery counter person. And now the person at the delivery counter hands over the goods to customer after the proper verification. I hope if you imagine the process, you can able to write all the points. Otherwise, you'll definitely miss the thing. So be careful in observing the entire sequence of operation. And of course, uh, the customer exit from the shop, but the entire cinema is not over. Now, at the end of every day, so each person should prepare a summary. So here, the salesman at the counter should prepare a document called sales summary at the end of every day based on the cash memos with them. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮೆಮೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಡೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಇರುವಂತ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮೆಮೋಸ್ನ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ಮರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶಿಯರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ಮರಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮೆಮೊ. And here the person at the delivery counter again should prepare goods delivered note or goods delivered summary based on the cash memo. And after preparing these summaries, they should be handed over to a responsible officer. And this responsible officer should compare all the three documents, and all these documents should tally. So after saying that all these documents are tallying, this responsible person will put a signature in all the documents. And now this salesman and the person at the delivery counter will be rich, but not the cashier. Now the cash and the check or whatever the balance, all the balances are with the cashier. At the end of every day, so these amounts should be deposited to bank. All the cash or checks which should be deposited to bank. So it is a day's report, and every day all these transactions will repeat for all the customers. So hope you remember, and let me summarize this daily reports. So here at the end of every day these steps should be performed. Of course, I hope you can able to recall the things. So counter salesman should prepare summary of sales based on cash memos with them, and cashier should prepare cash sales summary again based on the sales memo or the cash memo with them, and the person at the delivery counter should prepare summary of units and value of goods sold again based on cash memo receipts with them. So now we have three major documents, and summary of sales, cash sales summary, and summary of units and value of goods sold, and these three documents should be compared. After proper verification, so this combined summary statement for the day should be signed by a responsible person. And the last step, the daily cash received or cash or check anything, all these things should be deposited into bank. So at the end of every day, all these steps should be repeated. So hope you enjoyed uh, the video and you are able to recall the things that internal check system for cash transaction at the counter. So the activity of one person might be the salesman is cross verified by the responsible person, cross verified by the cashier, and at the end cross verified by the person at the delivery counter. So this type of cross verification system is called internal check system. So hope you enjoyed, and let us meet in the next video and discuss regarding internal check system for cash sales for traveling salesmen. Thank you. Take care and happy learning.